Yes, thank you very much. Thanks everybody for joining. My name is Holger Fritzinger. I'm part of the platform and technology ecosystem team, and I'm also the lead for the global go-to-market for our Apple and SAP partnership. What I'm covering today is a program we call FastStart, and we thought that would be quite relevant for the audience and also quite relevant these days. I'll cover that in three parts. So the first part is why FastStart? Why did we decide to put this program in place? What does it entail? Then get into examples, show you what's there currently, customer examples, and which partners we're working with. And then the third and final part is what's your way to engage? What's next? So how can you take advantage in your situation? So starting with the basics, and this is something Apple has been teaching us over the last couple of years. So starting with the user, in this case, the employee. So what does an employee typically want? So how can mobile apps make my life easier? For example, as a manager, easily approve vacation requests now that I'm in my home office. So how can that be done very easily, conveniently? Help me do my job better. So assuming I go to a customer meeting, we just had with one client in Germany, we built an app. This is all about getting the right information for a specific role, for a specific seller together when they're on their way to the customer. So they get prepped with this app. What's going on? Do I have any delivery issues, payment issues, and so on? So it really helps the seller then to be well prepared. It helps them follow up, and it just helps them make their job better. And obviously working from anywhere is a big topic these days. And each one of us is just spoiled. We basically use all these great applications for all kinds of purposes at home, but in a lot of cases, this isn't available on the enterprise level. On the flip side, then the CIO, so he has some strategic topics to take care of, digitization, transformation, wants to get out all the great innovation to employees and customers, so all of the topics and capabilities of the business technology platform. But then it's also critical to look at the adoption of the enterprise system. So that's more and more a make or break discussion also with CIOs. So putting enterprise systems in place is great, but if there's not a great adoption, then they have a problem, we as SAP have a problem, and everybody has a problem. So finding ways to drive better adoption, especially also using mobile, is a big topic. And then just in the constant interaction and struggle between business and IT, so the app gap, customers and the LOBs want many great applications. They don't get as many as they want. So how can we help bridge that gap? So if we look at FastStart apps, the key points to highlight is it's packaged mobile apps, packaged iOS apps, which are built by selected partners. And this is done in the context of the Apple and SAP partnership. So this is what we'll drill down to in this session, and I'll share some more details on what it exactly means, how these packages look like, and so forth. But again, the key point is it's prepackaged solutions. So it might be, in some cases, it might be a 70% fit. So it's all about acceleration. It's all about making sure that the time to value is accelerated. And this also leads into the next point here. So this is just in the context of the next normal in the current situation. Why do we think it's even more important to look at FastStart? There's a couple of reasons. So as I said, the definition is it's the FastStarter packaged mobile apps for iOS. So the packaging part is really important. Just the time to value I mentioned is critical. But then also the last point here with the remote implementation. So what we're seeing from everybody is that there's a shift to shorter implementations, but then also to remote teams. And in that case, basically having a packaged or prepackaged solution just makes it easier. So you're not starting from scratch. You basically have these solutions as a starting point. And then in some cases, you have to add 20, 30%. In other cases, it might be just a couple of percent you have to add. The second key point in the current situation is mobile. So I think all of us are using much more mobile even than ever before. So there was a stat I read from Italy from last month. So there basically the usage of mobile business apps increased 700% as compared to the previous quarter. So just to throw one number out there. So there's a significant higher demand now for mobile applications than ever before, and more than we ever thought possible. So we always knew there's a huge demand, a huge pent-up demand also for that. But the current situation is just very much an additional accelerator for that. And then just the final point here with the iOS apps, there's just also you just get some things built in. You get the great user experience, you get the built-in security, and then the powerful technology. These are also very important capabilities, and we'll touch on some of the examples, but just some of the basic things that you can translate or transform your business processes from something which was very shoulder to shoulder or in front of your customer and very close to your customer to then models where you say, okay, you can change the approach and also ensure social distancing, also make sure that they do order confirmations, things like that in a different way. This is just really important in the current situation. Taking a step back from the Apple partnership, we started with a partnership 4 years ago. What we focused on in the beginning was basically the technology, laying the foundation, so the SDK for iOS, which is basically leveraging what Apple has built already, but is addressing all the gaps you have in enterprise use cases. So for integration, for predefined user experiences, for authentication, and so on. So we sat together with Apple and decided, okay, these are the gaps we would like to address over the next 3 years. And we put this in place. So this is now a great accelerator for everybody who is creating the iOS apps for the enterprise. On the right-hand side, these are a couple of customer examples. So we basically, on the app side, we went in 2 directions. On the one hand, we looked at building custom applications, all great customer successes. We've been very successful there. And all of these cases, if you're interested in more details, you can just do a quick search. So basically all of those and actually many more won innovation awards with their solutions. So if you want more detail around the Vestas or Murphy Oil case, some of the information is on our webpage, which is on the linked in the last page. But then you can also look for the Innovation Award documents, which are great and which give you all the details about these solutions. Left-hand side, we also invested in more standard applications, but what we found out pretty quickly is that there's still a significant gap. So there's a huge demand from customers for applications which we can't fill alone and we can't fill with pure custom projects. So last year in summer, we launched the FastStart initiative. So what you see here is the key partners which we included in the first wave. And what you'll recognize is that these are all key partners of ours and have delivered great success and great engagement for us with these FastStart applications. The layer on the bottom, just to highlight a couple of additional points. So the design-led innovation approach. All of these applications are built using the same methodology. So it's all human-centered design. It's all starting with basically what's the business problem we're trying to solve. And there's also a reference here to the App House network. This is actually something our App House team started rolling out last year or even the year before, but we now have a set of partners, 8 or 10 partners who leverage this methodology, have these app houses in place, and there is a strong overlap between this approach and the app house networks and the FastStart solutions. So the main point is with these partners, you can either leverage some of their FastStart applications if they fit, or you can also leverage the approach with the App House network and build custom applications and help them also help you understand how the modern application approach could look like if this isn't something you've done before. Final point here, the business technology platform. So this is the underlying platform for all of this. So integration is obviously a big piece of it, but then also many of the other capabilities from chat to machine learning, all these things are included. And what's important for us is that this is a key point also for extension and adding additional value to the solutions you see here. So the solutions you see here from the first wave of the accelerators, on the left-hand side, the partners. And as I mentioned, many of them have had the opportunity to already talk about what they delivered and also talk about great customer successes. So what I decided to do, just to give you a sense of how these FastStart solutions look like, just describe in a one-pager how these solutions, what they entail, and just how to look at these solutions. So if you look at it from a top half, again, this is starting from a customer perspective, from a user perspective, employee perspective. So what's the challenge we're addressing, but then also how do they interact with the device? So their entry point into the enterprise. And then on the right-hand side, you even see a screenshot of the application. So just to give you a sense how these applications look like. Very modern design, very intuitive. So the feedback we're getting from the users of these FastStart apps is that there's limited to no training, depending on how complex the use case is. Either it's very limited or there's no training required at all. Then the bottom half is more around basically then which SAP solutions are used in the background, what SAP capabilities are leveraged from a BTP perspective. And then really on the right-hand side, there's also one of these standardized architecture diagrams. These are extremely valuable just to figure out what are the different pieces which come together. So these are all excellent cases to show how can basically an application leverage various capabilities. So not only then basically the mobile services, which is clear as we do mobile apps, but then how do you build additional logic? How do you leverage then the HANA cloud services? How do you add additional capabilities with workflow? So just to give you a sense, this is the breadth of these solutions. Also here I'm referencing one of the success stories for Born Digital, the contact partner and so forth. And then also there are links to videos and to the website. The same thing, the same content we provide then for our other FastStart partners. If you have more questions on the FastStart partners, which are not in the session today, check out the web pages and we can provide additional information. So to build these fast starts, and today is not the focus on the partner engagement. So this is more as a background for you as a customer, what this entails. The process entails basically obviously work from the partner, but then critical steps are the design reviews from Apple. This is something which is very involved and a critical step in that journey. And then from the SAP side, there's several other things we're taking care of from we validate is there a valid use case, the customers who have used a similar situation by the partners, are they happy, and reviewing the architecture, all the things you see here on the bottom. So a lot of work involved to get these off the ground, but we're proud that we have this good roadmap. And so if we look at, and this is then the final section for today, what's next? One of the things to look at what's next, so next to the solutions which we already have here, the way it's structured here, this is a little bit different view than before. So this is the way we present it in the context of the next normal. So the 4 pillars are basically pretty much what McKinsey says. These are the 4 key areas you need to address. So the main point is we have the existing FastStart solutions are helping already in all of these areas. So that's the current situation. What you see here is a preview, and I have to put a disclaimer behind it, a big disclaimer. So these are all the next wave apps we're working on. These are all 90+% through the process, but the final date for release is mid of June. So some of them are still in reviews with Apple. So from that perspective, I can't 100% guarantee that all of these applications will be available mid of June, but just to highlight a couple of them, Epiuse has been a great partner of SAP, and they're getting on board with a lockbox solution. Several of the partners are adding additional solutions, Born, Trifork, and Keytree. And then also additional partners are coming on board like Clockwork and also MSG and Wipro and Intelligence. So good traction. We're looking at basically a next wave of solution for the next few weeks. Hopefully all of those will be officially launched, maybe only 7 or 8 out of the 9. So this is something which we will then roll out as part of the Sapphire engagements and the virtual Sapphire, but just to give you a sneak preview here of what we're working on. And then finally, wrapping it up, so just to close the loop on the partners we're working with and why this is even more important than just FastStart alone. So on the one hand, obviously, there's the packaging approach, reduced time to value. So this is these days even more important than ever before, and we discussed that in the session. But I would also like to highlight the 2 additional areas. So one is the foundation for more innovation. So what we're seeing with these applications is that often it's all about making the first step successful, getting the foot in the door with the customer, and then also finding the right sponsor at the customer. So we've seen cases where, and this is again something Trifork can talk about, where the first project was just a couple of hundred users, but then based on the significant success, there's more internal stakeholders, there's more supporters, and then with that you can basically line up additional applications, and out of the few hundred or 150, 200 users of the first project, now it can be in the tens of thousands of users which are leveraging the solutions. Plus, it's basically always a great starting point if you have a successful app in place already. Then in the next phase, adding capabilities like yesterday chat, or adding something around machine learning, adding something around augmented reality is just so much easier than if you basically start from scratch with that. And then coming back to the next normal and the partner role in that. So these App House network partners are doing a great job there. Next to the FastStart partners we have highlighted, also partners like Extentia are part of that. And I would definitely recommend also to check out this link with the blog of the App House partners, how they basically changed from the on-site design thinking to remote design thinking. That's very valuable to understand these best practices, and they've done a great job basically explaining how you as a customer can take advantage of that. So with that, just a couple of more links for the records and for your reference. And if there are any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.